Saiga rifles and shotguns have become increasingly popular over the last few years. Among the reasons for this are their relatively low cost, their ease to be worked on, and of course the classic look of a Kalashnikov-style long arm. What I'm going to do here today is convert this Saiga 20, used obviously, into a pistol grip configuration, just to show how easy and how simple it can be. Saiga 20s and 308s are particularly good for this because they do not require drilling and tapping the front trunnion for a bullet guide. All they really require is the cutting of a trigger hole, a pistol grip nut hole, and the removal of the Bush Clinton plate. I'm going to be doing this now on a timer just to see how long it takes. I'll be cutting in and out, so it's not going to be one continuous feed, but we're going to see how long it takes and show just how easy it is. Alright, step one that you're going to see me do is I'm going to be drilling out these trigger pins just using a 3/16 inch drill on my drill press. Later I'll be back outside grinding off the rivets. Make sure you can see them all here. Here, there's also one inside the trigger guard, and then drilling through this spot weld. That's going to remove the Bush Clinton plate there, which I'll just pop off with either a chisel or a pry bar depending on what I have to hand. I'm going to be doing that next, and the timer will start now. Right now, with the pins drilled, I can just tap them out. There we go. There we go. Now it's going to be grinding down these rivets. The weather's changed and the sun has come out, which is going to screw up my white balance. But as you can see, I've got all the rivet heads ground off. Now all there is, I should say, is to pop off the plate. I will do with a chisel, especially modified chisel, especially modified in so much as I bought it from Harbor Freight for about $1. Hold on a second here. As you can see, it's just popped off here. I'm going to pop these rivets out. I'm also going to drill out this spot weld on the trigger guard so that I can reuse it, and then the plate can be thrown away. Now, driving the rivets out is going to be fairly easy. All you need is a deep well socket and a brass mallet, or you can use a steel mallet if you like. All this is going to do is go underneath the rivet and support it. Support the receiver, I should say. Now I pop this out. Maybe you also need a pin punch. There we are. Alright, here we go. For this last one, I had to use a brush or a piece of wood. This just happened to be a brush handle. of appropriate width, because you can't get a socket in here that would fit just perfectly. Starting with a center punch here that I've made with my automatic center punch, I'm going to start drilling this spot weld out using the drill press. Alright, and I'm through the trigger guard. Now I should be able to break that weld with an appropriately placed chisel hit and a little bit of bending. Alright, as you can see here, I've gotten the trigger guard removed from the plate. It's got a little bit of a rough edge here that I'm going to take... Oh, that's paint, never mind. It's got a little bit of a rough edge here that I'm going to take down with some sandpaper, or I guess a sanding belt on my belt sander. Also got to trim this off flush here, so that this part is going to be a waste portion. I'm going to go take care of that. I don't have a camera set up for that though, so I have to take my word for it. It's been about 30 minutes so far. Alright, you may be thinking that I've forgotten to cut the pistol grip nut hole, and you're right, I did. So what I'm going to do is I've got an adjustable ruler here. This happens to be 1/2 inch wide, which is just what I need for this application. I've got it set to 1 5/8 inches so far, so I'm going to measure it in the back of the receiver, just sort of center it by eyeball, and mark this corner, and mark this corner. I'm going to increase this 1/2 inch. So that's going to be 2 1/8 inches. There. Center it up within those marks. Mark that. Mark this corner again. And mark this corner again. That leaves me with a 1/2 inch square. And on each of these corners I'm going to drill with a 1/8 inch drill bit and then connect them with a rotary disc, a rotary tool cutoff disc. Everything's all set to go on the bottom. I've got it taped up here just with some masking tape. I'm going to hit it with Duplicolor low gloss black engine enamel, which is supposed to be a very good match for the factory finish. This isn't a very high abuse area. It does get some repeated abuse in the trigger guard, but it's only going to require 1, maybe 2 coats. Okay, I've run into a rather major screw up that I'm going to have to fix sometime later on. But I'm going to press on with the trigger guard installation, just using the rear hole here and a steel blind rivet. That's just going to be attached using a rivet backer on the inside. Sorry about cutting away there. I've got the rivet in place along with the backing plate. The major screw up was I can't get my rivet gun into the top as I could with a Saiga 308 and with most of the rifle Saigas. And I could also obviously not get it down through the tower, which would either require removing the tower or removing this brace, neither of which I really want to do. Other options would include drilling and tapping, or drilling for a screw and nut of some sort. But I'm not going to do either one of those. As you can see, it holds firm right now. There is some flex outward, but that's really not the kind of stress that's going to be placed on that part. So I'm not too particularly worried at this point. Alright, and here are all the bits and bobs that need to be put back together. I've got the original Russian-made stuff over here that I'm going to be reusing again, including the bolt hold open, the gas plug selector, magazine, all that stuff. Then over here on the US-made side, I don't have the correct nut for my Hogue overmolded pistol grip, so I'm going to be using this one from Interordnance along with the Interordnance stock. We've got an MD arms, gas plug, Tapco G2 trigger, as well as some of the other accoutrement that will be attaching it together. And I'm just going to put this together, and I'll see you on the other side of that. Okay, it's about 2 hours after I started. I had a little trouble with the pistol grip interfering with the action of the trigger. As you can see, I've trimmed a little bit off the top here so that the trigger has full range of motion. Previously it was not allowing the safety to work. but now, as you can see, it does. I did not install the bolt hold open yet. That's something I can wait for a later date. The conversion process is pretty much over at this point.